So immediately you get a use out of these common size financial statements. As for balance sheets, we're going to do these. I don't know why we have these in 6 months. As ratio of total assets, 2. I'm not going to do the same thing for NVIDIA, but for example, looking at the sum of cash and short-term investments, it's about 787. Before it was 850. So I can look at trends over time. I feel of anyone else in the company, you bring all of these together and you kind of look at the trend. By the way, did you guys know that you could do inline little charts in Excel? I mean, this is only 2 items, but suppose I wanted to kind of do a little chart. Right here, I'm going to say insert line, data range is this. It puts a little graph. Don't do it for 2 numbers, but say you have 10 numbers, you don't want to do separate charts and separate sheets. The nice thing about these, you can drag them. Copy paste. A lot of people don't think Excel is a visual communication device, but it is. Charts, whether the minute charts or other charts, can be very useful communication devices. When I defended my PhD dissertation, God, almost 20 years ago now, my dissertation, including papers and everything, was over 200 pages, which is rather common in finance. Most PhD students have a presentation that's 50 slides. Okay? I had only 14 slides. Of those, 8 were pictures. Why? I can tell a lot of students. Plus, those students ignored one of the cardinal rules of presentation. Minute details. There's somebody's going to ask me a question with minute detail, even though it's completely unimportant for the rest of the stuff. A, you're going to lose your rhythm of your presentation, and B, you're going to give those people, these are the committee, they're going to say, yes, you deserve it. Yes, your advisor doesn't let you present it unless you do, but unless you get the majority of the committee, you don't get your PhD. Don't give them a reason to doubt. If they have read your dissertation, they're going to ask you questions anyway. And trust me, other than your advisor and maybe one of the committee members, never read the whole thing. So use your charts, and we're going to do some of those during the course of this class to easily communicate complicated stuff using just a single chart. Now, let's go back to other types of or different types of financial statements. We have solvency ratios. short or long term. These are ratios that want to tell stories about how likely is the firm to meet their financial obligations. That's why we divide them into short and long term. And we also have these also are divided into leverage ratios and coverage ratios. The leverage ratios tell you or tries to measure to what extent company is indebted, to what extent they use debt instead of their own money. Leverage is a nice little thing. Leverage means you're using other people's money to make money. When it works, it's a beautiful thing. And suppose you bought NVIDIA at $30. When I first recommended it's like it went as high as 150. It's a 5 times return, right? That's about yeah. Instead of putting $100 of your own money and do not borrow, you put $100 of your own money and borrowed another 100, bought twice as many shares. Let's assume you're going to pay 10% interest. So 30 going to 150, 60 is going to go to 300. So it's going to be what? Again, 5 times, but you're going to pay back only 30 of the back. So it went to 270. Okay, another 3 for interest, 263. So your $30 investment went up to 263 versus if you don't have leverage, your $30 investment went up to 150, which is not too shabby. But when it works, leverage is beautiful. But unfortunately, when it doesn't, it kills it. Suppose you bought it and you bought maybe at 150, right? Just last week, it was about $100. You put you bought 2 shares, you spent $300, 150 of it is yours. Now it's worth only 200. You have to pay back 150, you got only 50. So you lost 2 totally. So leverage is like a Hattori Hanzo sword. If you ever watched Kill Bill, you know what I do? I have I have a replica of the Bride sword. I have some Japanese swords. I mean, I use them to cut off pieces of watermelons during the summer. Oh man, it cuts it like a butter. But I do it only in the backyard. But maybe this year I'll do it. You know, Kentucky is a complex state. So Halloween, I also have something like a samurai, skirt and the face. Just like that pull. I'm gonna put 2 of my swords, katana to my back, and I go to McDonald's. Kind of a big bag deal. I'll dare anybody to say anything. I mean, at EKU, you can't bring weapons, but somebody's actually trying to pass a law that's going to allow people to have guns on campus. If they ever do that, you will see me with my swords. Try doubting me after that. I keep my swords very sharp. I don't own a firearm, but maybe I will at some point. The coverage ratios, on the other hand, they measure your ability to service existing debt. To what extent you make enough money to cover interest payments, for example. We're going to look at things called asset efficiency ratios. These are essentially turnover type measures.